This is a pound of fat. And if you want to lose a few of these, listen up, because I'm going to teach you about how to master the fat loss trifecta so you can get results even when shit hits the fan and life gets in the way. So you'll be wondering, what is the fat loss trifecta? These are the three main areas that you can focus on to get fat loss results. Obviously, there's a variety of factors that can play into that, but if you master these three, you're definitely on the way to getting amazing results. First area is diet. So if you don't know, a pound of fat has got 3,500 calories. That means you need to be in a deficit of 3,000 calories to burn a single pound of fat. If you don't know how to work out your calorie deficit, I'll put a link below on how to work out your deficit. But in terms of the trifecta, when it comes to this, you need to manage your diet to put yourself in a deficit. Easiest way to do this is to be in a 500 calorie deficit every single day. That is part one of the fat loss trifecta. 500 calorie deficit per day equals 3,500 calorie deficit for the week equals 1 pound of fat loss. It can be as simple as that. Like I said before, there's a multitude of factors that can affect how your diet goes or what your diet looks like, but as a broad scope, that is what we need to apply. The second part of trifecta is your movement. So what counts as movement is movement outside of the gym. So that could be walking, housework, or just generally moving around and pondering around at work, in your house, any movement that's not part of training. Even me doing this with my hands is movement. I'm currently sat at a desk, but I'd be looking to do as much movement during the day as possible, so you're not classed as sedentary and not just sitting down all day. So any movement you can do outside of your normal movement, I would class as extra movement. And that is all beneficial towards mastering the second part of this trifecta. This is important because you will burn more calories from this movement than you will from actually doing your training. It's easier, more efficient, and more beneficial to you to include more movement outside of training rather than trying to train that little bit harder. Yes, training harder will have massive benefits, but these steps are easier to do than they are to make the training harder. And because of that, walking is an absolute cheat code. You can set yourself a target and increase how much you're walking up to a certain point every single day and still be ready to do it the next day. You won't get fatigued, you won't be unable to do it the next day, meaning that you'll burn more calories easily. It really is an underrated thing for fat loss. So movement and walking outside of your regular movement, outside of your regular training, is how you can master the second part of the trifecta. The third part is training. When it comes to training, the first thing you've got to look at is what training can you fit in? What time do you have available in order to train, and how frequent can you train? When you have that information available, you can start looking at the intensity of your training, the volume of your training, and what kind of training to do. If you can only train twice a week, train as many body parts as possible over them 2 days. If you can train every single day, although it's not recommended, you can train the same body part more frequently, give certain muscle groups more rest, and probably get better results if you're training more frequently than twice a week. But it all depends on the time you have available. So when you see all these videos saying you need to train this often, yes, you'll get better results from doing certain splits, certain frequency. As long as you get the right intensity when you do train and train as much volume as physically possible for you and for your ability level, then you can still get good results. In order to get the best results, you need to be mastering all three. But there are certain times when that is not possible. So you might be thinking, what do I do if I can't train today? What do I do if my diet's not going to look perfect today? Well, fear no more. Here's the answer. Always try and master at least 2 areas of the trifecta if you are unable to master all 3. And that will happen. There will be times. As long as you focus on mastering 2 every single day and 3 where possible, then you will get the best results. So what might that look like? If it's a friend's birthday and you're going out for the day and you know you're going to overconsume on calories, then you can get your steps in, you can get as much movement in, and you can get a training session in that day, even though you're eating a bit much. If you're in meetings all day and you need to be sat at your desk and you know you can't get much movement in, or you know you're not going to be able to get out of the house much, then you can get an early morning training session in and you can eat according to the movement you're doing that day. There, you've mastered 2 out of 3. If you can't train that day, if you're unable to make it to the gym, if it's a dedicated rest day for you, then you can eat in your calories and you can get as much movement in as possible. There'll always be times when you can focus on at least 2 out of 3. And if you think you can't, then you really need to have a look at why. Because I firmly believe that anybody, no matter what ability you're at, is able to master 2 out of the 3. And when I use the word master, I don't mean being perfect. I just mean putting your focus on 2 out of 3 areas where 3 out of 3 is not possible. Yes, we want to hit 3 out of 3 most of the time, but if not, then 2 out of 3 will help you get better results on the days that are not perfect. So you can use that information exactly how you want. My recommendation, keep the trifecta in your mind when you're thinking that a day won't be perfect, and it will allow you to get better results quicker and more sustainably, because more often than not, you're going to be able to hit at least 2 out of the 3 parts of the trifecta. Hope this is super helpful. If you need any more help or information, please reach out. If not, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel and pass this on to anyone who needs a reminder about working on their fat loss goals.